Hi friends, Jason here. Now I know you know that fear has a biological reaction, that in your fight, flight, or freeze response, your heartbeat quickens, your palms begin to sweat, and your pupils dilate. But fear also has a spiritual reaction, not just a physical reaction, but a spiritual reaction as well. Fear not only makes you forget, but fear also makes you lose focus. And what we see time and time again in Scripture are men and women who find themselves afraid and as a result of their fear lose focus on what God is calling them to do. I believe that God has a unique call on your life, that God uses your gifts, your passions, and your experiences, both good and bad, to bring about redemption in the world. But sometimes when we become afraid, we lose sight of that. We lose the focus on what God is calling us to do and who God is calling us to be. That happens in the Old Testament with Abraham as he is traveling, as he leaves his home country, just as God calls him to do. He ends up in Egypt where he becomes afraid and lies to Pharaoh about who his wife actually is. But it is perhaps not more clear than when Peter finds himself losing focus and as a result, legitimately and literally falling into the water. There's a moment where the disciples, they see Jesus walking on water, and Peter, maybe the bravest and also most dramatic disciple, says to Jesus, "If it is you, tell me to come to you." And so Jesus does exactly that and invites Peter out onto the water. Peter takes a step out of the boat and momentarily finds himself, like Jesus, walking on water. Scripture then tells us, though, that Peter begins to lose focus, that as he takes his focus off of Jesus and begins to focus on the water and the wind, Peter falls in. Of course, there's no condemnation here. Jesus doesn't condemn Peter. Instead, he extends him a hand and says, "Why did you doubt?" Over and over again, God reminds us. God refocuses us. Redemption refocuses us on what God calls us